September 22nd, 1987. Caesar's Palace Showroom, Las Vegas. Carlos Rivera thought Diana Ross was having a breakdown. In his 15 years as a stage manager, he'd never seen a performer stop mid-song like this. But what happened next would become the most legendary moment in Vegas history, and Carlos Rivera was about to witness the birth of a superstar in real time. The packed showroom of 3,000 people fell silent as Diana's voice suddenly cut off during "I'm Coming Out." The band, confused but professional, continued playing for a few more bars before gradually trailing off. Carlos felt his stomach drop. This wasn't in the script. This wasn't planned. This was every stage manager's nightmare, until it became every music lover's dream. Diana was staring directly into the VIP section, her hand shading her eyes against the bright stage lights. The sequins on her gold gown caught the spotlights, creating a halo effect around her silhouette. But she wasn't moving. She wasn't singing. She was frozen, looking at something that had captured her complete attention. "Ladies and gentlemen," Diana announced, her voice carrying clearly through the venue's perfect acoustics. "Stop everything." Carlos's heart was racing. His headset was buzzing with confused voices from the lighting booth, sound engineers and security. Everyone wanted to know what was happening, but Diana wasn't having technical problems. She was pointing directly at someone in the front row, seat R7. "The future of music is sitting right there," Diana declared with absolute authority. Carlos grabbed his binoculars and focused on the VIP section. There, trying to sink lower in her chair, was a young woman in an elegant black dress. Even from the wings, Carlos could see her embarrassment. She was shaking her head frantically, clearly wanting to disappear into the plush casino carpeting. "Whitney Houston," Diana called out like a mother summoning her daughter. "Get up here right now." The name rippled through the audience like electricity. Whitney Houston, the rising star whose debut album had exploded just 2 years earlier. Carlos had heard "Greatest Love of All" on the radio constantly, but seeing her here looking so young and overwhelmed was shocking. But what happened next left Carlos speechless. Whitney was shaking her head frantically, her hands pressed against her chest in a gesture of pure panic. But Diana Ross wasn't taking no for an answer. Not tonight. Not when she'd spotted talent that raw sitting in her audience. "Security," Diana commanded, her voice brooking no argument. "Help that beautiful girl up here. She's too shy for her own good." As 2 security guards approached Whitney's table, Carlos could see her whispering desperate protest to her companions. "I can't sing in front of Diana Ross," he heard her say as she was gently but firmly escorted toward the stage. "This is crazy. She's Diana Ross. I'm nobody." Diana met Whitney at the stage stairs, taking her hand like a mother welcoming her daughter home. But Whitney was trembling, her eyes wide with terror. "Don't you dare be nervous, baby," Diana said into her microphone, her voice warm with genuine affection. "What's your favorite song?" Whitney leaned close to Diana's ear, speaking so quietly that Carlos had to strain to hear. "Ain't no mountain high enough," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the sound system. Diana's face lit up with pure joy. She turned to the band with the confidence of a conductor addressing her orchestra. "You heard her, gentlemen. Transpose it to Whitney's key. She's got pipes that could shatter crystal." The opening notes filled the showroom, and Carlos watched something magical begin to unfold. Whitney started hesitant, her voice barely audible over the band. But Diana stood beside her, harmonizing softly, encouraging every note like a vocal coach. "Sing it, baby," Diana whispered between verses. "Show them how it's done." By the first chorus, Whitney had found her confidence. Her voice soared above Diana's, creating harmonies that seemed impossible. 2 generations of vocal royalty were creating music together spontaneously, and Carlos realized he was witnessing something that would never be repeated. The audience was transfixed. Carlos could see people pulling out cameras, others wiping away tears. In the VIP section, Industry executives were frantically making phone calls. This wasn't just entertainment. This was history being written in real time, and everyone in that showroom knew they were watching something unprecedented. Listen to those ad-libs. Diana laughed as Whitney improvised around the melody. This girl's got soul in every cell of her body. The song built to its climactic finish, both women holding the final note together. Whitney's voice, clear and powerful, blended perfectly with Diana's seasoned warmth. When the music ended, the silence lasted exactly 3 seconds. Then the showroom erupted. Carlos had worked thousands of shows, but he'd never heard applause like this. The standing ovation lasted 5 full minutes. People were crying, screaming, throwing flowers onto the stage. In the VIP section, industry executives were on their feet, some with tears streaming down their faces. Diana pulled Whitney close to the main microphone. "Remember this night," she told the audience, her voice thick with emotion. "You just watched a legend being born. Whitney Houston is the future, and the future is now." Whitney was overwhelmed, tears making her mascara run in dark streaks down her cheeks. She hugged Diana tightly, whispering something that made the older star smile with maternal pride. Then Whitney addressed the audience directly, her voice still shaky from emotion. "Miss Ross has been my idol since I was a little girl," she said, her words carrying to every corner of the silent showroom. "This is the greatest honor of my life. Thank you for believing in me." But as the two women left the stage together, Carlos realized his job had just become infinitely more complicated. His headset was buzzing with calls from record executives, entertainment reporters, and venue management. Within an hour, bootleg recordings of the duet would be circulating through the industry like wildfire. "Carlos," Diana called as she passed him in the wings, her arm still around Whitney's shoulders. "Did you get that on tape?" "Every second, Miss Ross," he replied, still stunned by what he'd witnessed. "Good." Diana smiled, her eyes twinkling with satisfaction. "Because that little girl just became a superstar, and I want proof that we were there when it happened." What happened backstage after that legendary duet would prove even more significant than the performance itself. As Carlos coordinated the technical breakdown, he noticed Diana and Whitney deep in conversation by the dressing room area. Diana was speaking intently, her hands gesturing expressively, while Whitney listened with the focused attention of a student meeting her master teacher. "Baby," Diana was saying, her voice carrying the wisdom of decades in the industry, "you've got something special, but having the voice is only half the battle. You need to understand the business, protect yourself, and never let anyone dim your light." Whitney nodded solemnly, absorbing every word like gospel. "Miss Ross, I've been listening to your music since I was 5 years old. My mother always said you were the blueprint for how a black woman could succeed in this industry with dignity and grace." Diana's eyes softened at the mention of Sissy Houston, whom she'd known and respected for years. "Your mother is a wise woman, and she raised a daughter with more talent in her pinky finger than most singers have in their entire body." Carlos pretended to check sound equipment while eavesdropping on this incredible mentorship moment. He realized he was witnessing more than just a backstage conversation. This was the passing of wisdom from one generation of musical royalty to the next, a torch being passed in real time. "The industry is going to try to change you," Diana continued, her voice taking on a protective tone. "They'll want to smooth out your edges, make you more palatable, more commercial. Don't let them. Your power comes from your authenticity. The moment you start singing for everyone else instead of yourself, you lose the magic." Whitney's eyes were wide, hanging on every word. "How do you handle the pressure, the expectations? Tonight, when you called me up here, I was terrified I'd embarrass myself in front of all these people." Diana laughed, a rich sound that filled the backstage area. "Honey, you think I'm not terrified every time I step on stage? Fear never goes away. You just learn to dance with it. And tonight, you didn't just dance with it, you made it your partner." Their conversation was interrupted by a knock on Diana's dressing room door. Carlos opened it to find a young man with a clipboard and the urgent expression of a record executive who'd just witnessed something potentially profitable. "Miss Ross, Miss Houston," the man said breathlessly. "I'm David Chen from Arista Records. We need to talk about what just happened out there." Diana stepped protectively in front of Whitney, her maternal instincts immediately activated. "Mr. Chen, Whitney is having a private conversation. Whatever business you have can wait until tomorrow." But Whitney gently touched Diana's arm, showing wisdom beyond her years. "It's okay, Miss Ross. I should probably hear what he has to say." What David Chen revealed would change the trajectory of Whitney's career forever. "Whitney," he began, his voice shaking with excitement, "in the 30 minutes since you left the stage, we've received calls from Rolling Stone, MTV, Entertainment Tonight, and Good Morning America. Everyone wants to know who you are and where you came from." Carlos watched Whitney's face carefully. He'd seen this moment before when a performer realizes their life is about to change completely. Some artists panicked, others got overwhelmed. Whitney, however, remained remarkably composed, a quality that would serve her well in the years to come. "What does that mean for me?" she asked simply. "It means," Chen continued, "that your next album release just became the most anticipated event in music. It means radio stations are going to start playing your songs in heavy rotation. It means you just became a household name." Diana stepped forward again, her protective instincts in full force. "And what do you want from her in return?" Chen smiled nervously, clearly intimidated by Diana's legendary presence. "Nothing tonight, but we'd like to schedule a meeting next week to discuss promotional opportunities. The duet you two just performed, people are calling it magical. We think there's potential for a collaboration album." The suggestion hung in the air like a musical note waiting to resolve. Carlos could see both women considering the possibilities and the implications. A Diana Ross-Whitney Houston album would be a commercial goldmine, but artistic collaborations required chemistry that couldn't be manufactured. "David," Diana said carefully, "Whitney and I just met tonight. Any collaboration would need to be organic, meaningful, not just a commercial opportunity designed to capitalize on one magical moment." Whitney nodded in agreement. "Miss Ross is right. If we did work together, it would have to be for the right reasons, because the music demanded it, not because some executive thought it would sell records." Carlos admired Whitney's wisdom. For someone so young, she understood instinctively what many artists never learned, that artistic integrity couldn't be compromised for commercial success. Chen left his business card and departed, leaving the two women alone again. "You handled that well," Diana observed. "Most young artists would have said yes immediately, overwhelmed by the excitement. You kept your head." Whitney smiled shyly. "My mother taught me to think before I speak. She always said the music industry is full of people who will promise you the world and deliver you a handful of dust." As the evening wound down, Carlos realized he had witnessed something unprecedented, not just a spontaneous musical collaboration, but the birth of a mentorship that would influence Whitney's entire career. Diana had done more than share her stage. She had shared her wisdom, her protection, and her genuine care for a younger artist's well-being. Years later, when Whitney achieved superstar status with songs like "I Will Always Love You," she would credit Diana Ross with teaching her how to handle fame with grace and dignity. "Diana showed me that success isn't just about talent," Whitney said in a 1992 interview. "It's about character, integrity, and using your platform to lift up others." Carlos kept the original recording of their duet, and it became one of his most treasured possessions. The performance became legendary among music insiders, with bootleg copies circulating for years. Music historians would cite it as a pivotal moment in Whitney's career, the night she stopped being a promising newcomer and became an undeniable force in the industry. "People ask me what it was like to witness musical history," Carlos reflects today. "But what I remember most isn't the performance itself, it's the humanity behind it. two women from different generations connecting through the universal language of music. Diana could have finished her song and moved on. Instead, she chose to create something beautiful with someone she'd never met. That's not just talent, that's heart. The recording has been digitally remastered and carefully preserved, a testament to the power of spontaneous collaboration and the importance of supporting emerging talent. That magical September evening proved that great artists don't just perform, they recognize and nurture greatness in others. The ripple effects of that legendary night extended far beyond anyone could have imagined. Within weeks, other established artists began incorporating similar spontaneous moments into their performances. Aretha Franklin started inviting emerging gospel singers on stage. Stevie Wonder began calling young musicians out of his audiences. The music industry had witnessed the power of cross-generational support, and suddenly lifting up the next generation became a mark of true artistry, rather than a threat to established power. Carlos often reflects on how that single moment of recognition changed the entire culture of live performance. Before that night, he explains, established stars kept their distance from newcomers. There was an invisible hierarchy, an unspoken rule that legends didn't share their stages with unknowns. Diana shattered that wall with one gesture. She showed that greatness isn't threatened by greatness. It celebrates it, nurtures it, and passes the torch with pride. The most remarkable aspect, according to Carlos, is how Diana and Whitney's friendship deepened over the years that followed. They would call each other before major performances, seeking advice and encouragement. When Whitney struggled with personal challenges in her later career, Diana was often the first person she reached out to for support and guidance. Diana became Whitney's musical mother. Carlos observes with evident emotion. She protected her, guided her through the treacherous waters of fame, and never stopped believing in her potential, even when Whitney doubted herself. The night at Caesar's Palace became a blueprint for how established artists could support emerging talent without diminishing their own star power. Music schools began studying the performance as an example of perfect mentorship in action. The spontaneous duet was analyzed in countless music business courses as the ideal intersection of timing, talent recognition, and generous spirit. Diana's decision to stop her own show mid-song to showcase another artist became legendary, not just for its musical result, but for its demonstration of character and vision. She had recognized something special in that young woman sitting in seat A7, and her willingness to put Whitney's potential above her own planned performance created a moment that transcended entertainment to become genuine artistry. Years later, when Whitney was asked about the most influential moment in her career, she would always return to that September evening in Las Vegas. Diana didn't just give me a platform, Whitney explained in interviews. She gave me permission to be great. Before that night, I was still asking myself if I deserved to be in the same room as legends like her. After that night, I knew I belonged. The backstage mentorship session that followed the duet proved to be equally valuable. Diana's advice about maintaining artistic integrity while navigating commercial pressures became Whitney's guiding philosophy throughout her career. The warning about industry executives who would try to change her authentic voice resonated deeply, helping Whitney maintain her distinctive style even as she achieved massive commercial success. Carlos still has the original recording equipment from that night, carefully maintained as museum-quality artifacts. Occasionally, music historians visit his modest Las Vegas home to hear his first-hand account of the evening that changed popular music forever. His detailed logs from that night, meticulously recorded as part of his stage management duties, provide the only official documentation of the exact timing and sequence of events that led to the legendary duet. People always asked me if I knew I was witnessing history, Carlos says with a gentle smile. Honestly, I was just trying to keep the show running smoothly. But when I heard Whitney's voice soar above Diana's in perfect harmony, when I saw the audience rise to their feet in spontaneous celebration, when I watched two generations of talent create something beautiful together, that's when I knew this was bigger than any show I'd ever managed.
This was magic happening in real time. Today, the story of Diana Ross stopping her concert to showcase Whitney Houston stands as one of the most beautiful examples of artistic generosity in music history. It demonstrates the power of recognizing talent, the importance of mentorship, and the magic that can happen when established artists choose collaboration over competition. For Carlos Rivera, now retired from stage management but still passionate about live music, that September evening remains the pinnacle of his career. "I managed thousands of shows over 15 years," he reflects. "But that one night taught me that the greatest performances aren't just about the music, they're about the moments when human beings connect through art and create something bigger than themselves." Diana and Whitney gave that gift to everyone in that showroom, and I walked